Welcome to Genius Hub, the right destination for human capacity development, skills acquisition, and empowerment. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization with offices across Nigeria and Africa, and with a strong presence in Lagos, Kano, Edo, and Rwanda. With a vision to improve lives and empower knowledge, Genius Hub prides itself in providing services and training to over 17,000 persons in over 49 TVET entrepreneurship, employability, and digital skills such as basic literacy skills, graphics design, website development, digital marketing, filmmaking, and many more. Genius Hub is committed to promoting MSME growth and visibility through incubation, acceleration, startup development services, as well as tech-driven interventions, including training and capacity building in digital marketing, basic digital literacy, product photography, social media marketing, financial management, search engine optimization, and more. Through NYTV, Genius Hub reaches out to train aspiring creatives in the areas of photography, cinematography, editing, lighting, and many more. Welcome to Genius Hub, the right destination for human capacity development, skills acquisition, and empowerment. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization with offices across Nigeria and Africa, and with a strong presence in Lagos, Kano, Edo, and Rwanda. With a vision to improve lives and empower knowledge, Genius Hub prides itself in providing services and training to over 17,000 persons in over 49 TVET entrepreneurship, employability, and digital skills such as basic literacy skills, graphics design, website development, digital marketing, filmmaking, and many more. Genius Hub is committed to promoting MSME growth and visibility through incubation, acceleration, startup development services, as well as tech-driven interventions, including training and capacity building in digital marketing, basic digital literacy, product photography, social media marketing, financial management, search engine optimization, and more. Through NYTV, Genius Hub reaches out to train aspiring creatives in the areas of photography, cinematography, editing, lighting, and many more. Welcome to Genius Hub, the right destination for human capacity development, skills acquisition, and empowerment. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization with offices across Nigeria and Africa, and with a strong presence in Lagos, Kano, Edo, and Rwanda. With a vision to improve lives and empower knowledge, Genius Hub prides itself in providing services and training to over 17,000 persons in over 49 TVET entrepreneurship, employability, and digital skills such as basic literacy skills, graphics design, website development, digital marketing, filmmaking, and many more. Genius Hub is committed to promoting MSME growth and visibility through incubation, acceleration, startup development services, as well as tech-driven interventions, including training and capacity building in digital marketing, basic digital literacy, product photography, social media marketing, financial management, search engine optimization, and more. Through NYTV, Genius Hub reaches out to train aspiring creatives in the areas of photography, cinematography, editing, lighting, and many more. Welcome to Genius Hub, the right destination for human capacity development, skills acquisition, and empowerment. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization with offices across Nigeria and Africa, and with a strong presence in Lagos, Kano, Edo, and Rwanda. With a vision to improve lives and empower knowledge, Genius Hub prides itself in providing services and training to over 17,000 persons in over 49 TVET entrepreneurship, employability, and digital skills such as basic literacy skills, graphics design, website development, digital marketing, filmmaking, and many more. Genius Hub is committed to promoting MSME growth and visibility through incubation, acceleration, startup development services, as well as tech-driven interventions, including training and capacity building in digital marketing, basic digital literacy, product photography, social media marketing, financial management, search engine optimization, and more. Through NYTV, Genius Hub reaches out to train aspiring creatives in the areas of photography, cinematography, editing, lighting, and many more.
Okay, now which
So if we are having Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Simeon, I don't know if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me, sir.
good afternoon, I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Genius Hub daily webinar. If you joined us yesterday, you can testify that yesterday's session was very, very, very insightful, given that the topic that we treated yesterday is more modernized, so to speak. So today we are going to be taking a continuation of our topic yesterday, how entrepreneurs can raise capital through liquid investments. And yesterday, our speaker, Mr. Simeon, said something. He said, tokenized money tokenized money has now become the order of the day. As entrepreneurs, we have to understand the flow of money so we can work with it. We need to understand where money comes from, where money is going. The reason why top people in the tech industry, even business owners, the reason why they can integrate blockchain, dollarized economy into their business practices is because they've understood that, okay, this is how money works, this is how the digital money works, and then they have integrated it into their business flow. So for MSMEs that are here, prepare to learn, open your minds to unlearn, relearn, and gain new insights into this topic. We are going to be very brief. So I'll just quickly welcome our speaker so it would continue from where it stopped yesterday. I know he's very, very, very ready to dish out some more insights for us into blockchain and tokenized money. So Mr. Simeon, the floor is yours. You can continue, sir.
All right, thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Yeah, thank you very much for having me again today. Yesterday, we spoke a lot about liquid investment or liquid assets through the blockchain. And like I mentioned yesterday, there are several liquid instruments or several liquid investment instruments. We have stocks, we have bonds, we have private equity, we have different form of liquidity investment. But because of the cost of this webinar, I'm focusing on decentralized finance, which is a finance that is built upon on the blockchain. So there are, like I said, several instruments, but for this focus of this training, I'm focused on decentralized finance. And the reason is not far-fetched. The reason is two things. First and foremost, Nigeria or the global economy is currently going through a massive inflation phenomenon, as it were. And Nigeria and many other developing countries are suffering the worst hit. We've not had this amount of inflation that has hit Nigeria in a very long time. And I'm talking about over 40% increase in price on every commodity, from raw materials to transportation and logistics to energy. It has cuts across all board. So the reason that we are doing this is for us to look for a creative way for entrepreneurs to see how they can raise capital for their businesses, unconventional ways, unconventional, creative, but not illegal. So it has to be stated clearly. It's unconventional, it's creative, but not totally illegal. Most entrepreneurs, especially MSMEs, only know very few or limited ways to raise capital for their businesses. It's either they are doing family and friends, bootstrapping through their personal savings, or of course, which the most common of them all is debt. They are maybe going to meet a bank or a financial institution to raise debt, and we all know what comes with debt: the interest rates, the interest rates, the ability to pay back also comes down to the inflation that the country is currently facing. So, for example, you borrow money at say 35%, per annum, and by maybe the money is supposed to be for the maturity of the is supposed to mature by the 12th month, and before you even get to start repaying the loan, the inflation hits you. That means inflation is already fighting against your business at 40%. Then you're looking at paying a loan at 35%. So the question is, how much profit do you intend to now make for you to not just cover the interest rate of the loan, but also the inflation of prices of raw materials? Of course, as entrepreneur, you want to push the price back on the market, but it now depends on the kind of goods you are selling. Because when inflation hits an economy like this, if you are not doing the basics, and what are the basics? Food, logistics, because people will have to move no matter what. People will have to eat no matter what. Um, what else? I'm tempted to say shelter, but shelter again is relative. But let's even say shelter. But the basics are food and logistics, and some other ones. So if you are not in the market, if you are not in these sectors, these two major sectors that are the basics, hitting hard, you may not be able to push back that particular price of inflation, because it now boils down to necessity, the needs and wants. So we advise entrepreneurs, like this, in times like this, to just think outside the box. Think of creative ways for us as entrepreneurs to raise capital, for our businesses. And talking about decentralized finance, it is very important that we understand the technology that powers it, which is the blockchain. So that was why we needed to do all the training. We needed to go through all the trainings and the materials we did yesterday. And if you have not seen that webinar, I want to advise that you just go back and just try to do a recap.
Yes, you can. The video is still and we watch it. Yeah.
Yes. I try to do a recap. So, like I said yesterday, entrepreneurs must understand how money works or how money flows. And I mentioned yesterday that there's a reason why money is called currency, or why money is referred to as currency, because currency got its name from the root word current. And current, if you look at current, one of the major attributes of a current is that it has the ability to flow. So money is flowing from one source to the other. Invariably, money is exchanging hands, and money is flowing from is flowing towards the direction of value. So you must understand that if you are not able to create value in the market, money may not flow to you, even in terms of payment for goods and services that you are rendering, or you even want to raise capital for your business. So you must be creative in that regard. You must be creative in terms of how, not just on how you communicate your value, but not just on how you creating your value or your product, but also how you communicate the value as well. So it's very important because when you are dealing with the tokenized economy, you are not just dealing with a value or an asset that you can feel and touch, or you can see and touch. You are dealing with an asset that is perceived. Because in the tokenized economy or in tokenized money, it's just zeros and ones, and it's just digits, alphanumeric, special characters, and digits. So they are just basically computer codes you are dealing with, or what is called smart contracts. So you must understand some of these basic terminologies. I mentioned yesterday that you must follow the money, understand the movement of the latest or the nascent technology that governs the next phase of money that we are entering into. Yesterday I did a rundown of the evolution of money from trade by barter to gold, from gold to the coins, from coins to paper money backed by gold, and paper money backed by debt. But basically, now we are now in the future of the tokenized money. With the tokenized money, it opens up a lot of opportunity. First and foremost, it opens up opportunity of financial inclusion, cross-border payments, um, investment through fractional ownership, tokenization of real-world assets, and a lot more. So you must understand all this and how you participate in this. You don't just want to do catch-up. So the idea for this webinar is for you to be able to, first and foremost, get yourself used to these terminologies. And after you have listened to this webinar, take your time, to do research. You may do, because this period, it's a very delicate period, so you have to do some moonlighting in terms of going back at night and see how you can do research around it and see how you can maximize the opportunities that are involved in it as well. There are a lot of opportunities, I must tell you, and I have seen these opportunities taking businesses from one level to the other. So I would like to share my screen, but before I do that, I want to know if there are any questions you have for me, or there are feedbacks, or yesterday there's some questions I did not answer from some of the participants. I would like to take the questions while I share my screen so that I can continue from where I stopped yesterday.
Okay, so please, if you have any questions from yesterday that you would like him to address, just drop it in the chat box. But somebody said, Emmanuel, he said he really enjoyed the session yesterday. So that's a very good positive feedback. Thank you, Emmanuel. We are glad you enjoyed the session. So I think you should just share your screen. If there are any questions, we'll take it as the session progresses.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible now.
So I don't know if you heard me.
Okay, I heard. Okay,
Okay,
I'm
I
sharing
cannot
my.
see it yet from my end.
Okay, okay, just a minute. Let me see. Okay, I'm sharing it now.
All right. So while we wait for Mr. Simeon to share his screen, if you have any questions from yesterday, just drop them in the chat box. If you also have any feedback from yesterday's session, also drop them in the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible now, right? Can we go ahead? Okay. So I think we can go ahead, right? Okay. Okay, so I think there's some technical hitch here, but I think I can just go ahead so that I don't waste much of our time. So yesterday we spoke about DeFi, and I think this is just a safe place, for me to kick off. So basically, what is DeFi? What is decentralized finance? Decentralized finance is a revolutionary form of finance that is built on the blockchain technology, that does not require, the interference of the traditional intermediaries, like the bank. For many years, banks have actually been the one controlling the movement and the issuance of fiat or money. But with decentralized finance, value is now being created on the blockchain that allows people to interact with value and assets directly, peer to peer, as an individual. Because yesterday we saw some of the features of the blockchain. We mentioned that the blockchain is immutable. We mentioned that the blockchain is trustless. We mentioned that the blockchain is very secured. We mentioned that the blockchain cannot, information on the blockchain cannot, be altered. So when you look at all these features, um, and the applications that are being built on chain, or what we call dApps, you will see that because of these features of the blockchain, many developers or many companies or protocols have built products around accessing finance or that drives financial inclusion, just for anybody to access from any part of the world with just your mobile phone and the internet. So with your mobile phone and the internet, you can access any form of financial product from any part of the world. We're talking about lending, we're talking about staking or yield farming, we're talking about even cross-border payment, even cross-border payment. We're talking about all these functions that you can actually do as an MSME or as a small business for you to be able to attract um, money that is beyond your borders. So that gives you access to what I call the dollar economy. The dollar economy is very important as an entrepreneur at the moment, because the truth is that if you continually do business that revolves around the naira as an entrepreneur, you are probably going to be on the a very negative end because of the inflation and the devaluation, most especially when your raw materials are imported. So you are constantly going to be fighting a battle, a monetary battle. There are monetary policy systems that may not favor you at the moment. There are there's inflation to battle with. So it's important that you open up your business to have access to the dollar economy, because of course Nigeria is heavily relying on importation, especially when it comes to raw materials, as it were. So you need to understand that one of the ways that DeFi has come to help your business is that it has come to help your business and open it up to an economy that is, global. So what it simply means is that you can sell your product from Nigeria to any part of the world, just and receive dollar, and from where you are sitting, without necessarily need to go to the bank or go to any bureau de change or any intermediary at all, convert the dollar to naira or convert the dollar to any currency of your country. So It gives you it gives people the opportunity to buy from you and pay in dollar from anywhere in the world. It also gives investors the opportunity to invest your money in dollars. So to invest to give you investment or capital in dollars, to raise capital in dollars. So that is the kind of mindset that our entrepreneurs, we encourage our entrepreneurs, to look at and see how they can explore the blockchain for this kind of possibilities. Before now, raising capital through liquid investment you have to go through the Nigeria Stock Exchange or the Security Exchange Commission. You have to register. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, majority of entrepreneurs or MSMEs in Nigeria do not qualify to have access to those kind of capital instruments. Raising money through IPOs and all of other, getting investment on your business. But with the blockchain, you can actually open up your business for investment through what we call STOs, that's security tokens offerings. You can offer tokens based on the value, and that value, like I mentioned in the first place, is based on your ability to communicate the value that you are offering, the value your business is offering, the value that your business is constantly offering. So that is what is going to attract investors or attract interested or prospects into having to own those tokens, because basically what they are doing is that they are collecting your tokens as a means to say, well, I want to hold these tokens based on the fact that I believe in your business, and they give you their money. So when they give you their money, it's now left for you to go and take that money and do business and return the money. All these things is built on the smart contract, the codes. So when you return their money, they get return on investment. The tokens price may go up depending on how they want to sell. You can do what they call yield farming in terms of giving them yield. So there are several ways you can do that. So you can actually do yield farming. So for the amount of tokens they hold and for the period of time they hold that tokens, while you are using their money to do business, they are increasing in the yield or the returns in which you have given them that tokens to hold. So the yield they get becomes their returns on investment. You can actually decide to say, okay, if you gave me this money in dollars, I want to give it back in dollars and give a particular percentage per annum. So all these things are built on smart contracts that you can use to raise investment, for your business. So entrepreneurs must seek creative ways, that you must just see how to scale the business. Because the truth is that in the times like this, you have to do everything possible, legally possible, for you to survive. Otherwise, the business will just go under, which you want to seriously avoid. So, traditional financial system, I explained yesterday, the traditional financial system, if you look at it, you are saying, so somebody want to send money through any of the conventional product, maybe MoneyGram, Western Union, as the case may be. I'm talking about cross-border payment now. As the case may be, he sends the money from a bank to bank B. There are financial players within that particular system. There is the payments service provider. There is the issuer. If it's a card payment, there's an issuer, a player that is there. There's a central bank of the two countries that must interact. There are several parties that must interact for you to be able to receive that money at your end. And all this process, it takes time, because it will take time for maybe bank A and bank B to communicate one response. It will take two, it also takes charges, because all these players, for them to provide these services for you, they will take their bank charge. But for the decentralized system, it is pure peer-to-peer. As long as the money passes through the blockchain, as soon as the blocks or the nodes, and the transaction gets verified by the block or the node, you will receive your money in less than minutes. Sometimes maybe taking an hour, depending on the particular blockchain and the congestion of the network. So blockchain has come to revolutionize finance. The way we understand traditional finance, blockchain has come to take it a bit further. So you must open your mind and open your understanding for you to be able to understand and take advantage of this opportunity. And how do you do that? You do that through getting knowledge. In fact, one of the major drive as an entrepreneur in this current times of doing business should be knowledge. In fact, knowledge should be the most important, and seeking or getting access to the right knowledge is very, very key. Now, I mentioned yesterday that there are the platforms that constitute decentralized finance, the blockchain. There are several blockchain protocols and blockchain companies. You may need to seek the help of a partner, to be able to, align the blockchain or to select or choose the blockchain that align with your vision and your purpose, of which you are looking at raising the capital, or the purpose that align with your vision of the business. So you must get a secure partner. There are people who provide these particular, services. Then you look at the applications that you want to build. There, like I mentioned, there is staking, there is yield farming, there's lending. Yes, you can actually go to a particular blockchain protocol, to lend. There are blockchain companies like Aave and Compound that does that. There's Lido Finance actually they give the protocol that actually give access to that particular opportunity. Now, liquidity. So you decide how you want the liquidity to be, in terms of how you want to provide liquidity, or how you want your investors to access or liquidate their assets, as the case may be. Now, liquidity is very simple. Liquidity is the easeability or the ease in which any assets at all can be converted to money or fiat. Now, let me explain this with a story. Some time ago, I met with a retired top civil servant. He's retired right at the moment, and we got talking. And one of the things he said that got my attention was the fact that he said he has so many assets, and he has so many assets, but sometimes he would want to just do things that requires money, like physical cash, and he's not able to do them. So he was asking me, he said, Simeon, is it every time I need this money, I will go and sell the land, or I want to sell a car, or and all these things are not as liquid. What it means is that you cannot easily convert it to cash. You know the amount of time it will take to say you want to sell a land. So what if there's a medical emergency? What if you need to pay school fees? What if it is you want to travel, for vacation? So liquidity is very key. And coming down to business, what if you need to access the raw materials, and the time at which you are accessing that raw material is the cheapest price you can get at that particular time, but you cannot access it because you don't have liquid cash in the bank? So you, as an entrepreneur, you have to think on how to access liquidity at all time. Of course, one of the most easiest way to access liquidity is through debt instruments. Of course, if you are doing huge volumes with your bank, and there's a moment you need to access, liquidity to purchase the raw material, your bank can actually step in and provide you that liquidity for you to do that. A lot of importers do this a lot. But you see, the blockchain gives access to even take that, functions even further. I tell people that while you have the cake, which is traditional finance, the blockchain is like an icing on the cake. So it is very key that even though it's not something that you're already used to, even though it's not something that you understand, or it's not something that you learned in school, or it's something you don't, just take your time to start putting yourself to study, to start acquiring the knowledge. If you need to buy a course on it, buy a course. If you need to go online and do your personal research, go online. If you need to, if there's a need for you to get the place of a consultant, yeah, get the place of a consultant. But it's a knowledge that is critical for you to have at this moment. I mentioned yesterday, I said the most successful entrepreneurs in Nigeria, they understand the flow of money. They understand how money works. They understand the movement and they know where to wait for it. So for you to become a successful entrepreneur, you must also understand the flow of money. And I tell you, money is moving into tokenization. So it's the earlier you get there on time and start taking advantage of the opportunity, the better for you. Otherwise, you will just be trying to do catch up. You'll just be trying to do, trying to catch up, and you don't want to be in that position. So I want to go further, but are there any questions? Are there any questions?
Okay, I'll quickly check the comments if there are questions. Okay, so there is a question from Angel FA. She's asking, what are the potential dangers of decentralized currency?
Okay, good. So these are the kind of questions I've been expecting. The dangers is I want to be most popular danger is the fact that the decentralized currency in most cases is often anonymous. So sometimes, in traditional finance, the person that is sending you money. You can actually track the person that is sending you money. You can see that. But in decentralized finance, in most cases, it is actually anonymous. So it is because you are just doing it based on you are trusting a code. So we say it is trustless. So what it means is that if the transaction goes wrong or the person take your money, or maybe the person is a bad player, your money is lost forever. So there are a lot of scam projects on the blockchain because it's anonymous. There's nobody, you cannot actually take anybody, to court because it is just basically codes. Nobody reveals. In most cases, identities are not revealed. But to mitigate that, there are what they call asset exchanges. They are now being mandated by government because also government is trying to see how they can create some, regulations, in the space so that there's a bit of sanity. So they are now being mandated to do what we call KYC. KYC simply means know your customer. So in the KYC process, your name is being taken, your data actually is taken by the exchange. So if there's peradventure, there are issues that arise from such transactions, the exchange can provide your information and provide your data, and such a person can be prosecuted. So that is a danger. And two, knowledge. So, like I always mention, in fact, the most dangerous of them is the lack of the right adequate knowledge. So people jump on DeFi because they see, the immense potential without actually going through the right knowledge acquisition process. So when they do that, sometimes they get their fingers burnt. So that is why I, for example, have taken my time, over the years, close to 3 to 4 years now, to sit and study decentralized finance. I even have a degree in it, interestingly, study the system and study how it works so that at the end of the day, it is a safe way to do business rather than just a quick gain opportunity that people fall into scams. So knowledge, like I mentioned, anonymity is part of it. There are other ones like that are that are there, but these major ones are the ones that are very very crucial in terms of the dangers that you need in decentralized finance. But by and large, the most important of them is the lack of knowledge. So to mitigate that, like I mentioned, you get the knowledge, and it's good that you started with a webinar like this. Sometimes when I'm giving lectures, somebody will come to me and say, "Oh, I lost money. I lost 10 million. I lost 15 million." I say, "Oh, okay. Well, the reason you lost that money was because you didn't approach it, with the right knowledge. So that is why you did that." But again, speaking from an entrepreneurship side of view, the idea for you coming upon blockchain and DeFi is to seek how you can offer value and working with the right blockchain protocol that can help you put your value on chain. So that is the most important. Not necessarily looking at quick money making and quick making scheme, and falling into things like Ponzi and the rest of it. So those are the dangers that are tied to decentralized, finance, and I just mentioned how to mitigate against them. So in the course of our discussion, I mentioned smart contracts. Smart contract is they are self-executing contracts, on chain. What it simply means is very simple. The normal traditional contracts, for example, you draft an agreement. Most of us are used to drafting an agreement, especially when we want to rent a house. The landlord brings an agreement. The people that are involved in the agreement, there's a lawyer, then there's an enforcer. So what the lawyer does is to be able to do that legal representation, and draft the agreement. So the enforcer is like the police. So if there's anything that goes wrong in the agreement, it is the enforcer that will enforce the agreement before the agreement is executed. But for smart contract, you don't need any of those lawyer or police. It is self-executory. It's a contract that has been drafted in a code, a computer program, that if these conditions are not met, this should be the result, and nobody argues it. So if you agree to give somebody 10 naira, tomorrow, if you do a certain business and you stake your collateral for it, so tomorrow, if tomorrow comes and you don't give the person the 10 naira, the collateral is gone. No, you cannot take anybody. There's nobody that you take to court. There's no lawyer that will argue with you. It's not, everything is self-executed. So it is on that decentralized finance lies. People, you just trust the smart contract. So, benefit of decentralized finance, like I mentioned yesterday, it is globally accessible. It is automated. There are no third parties. So, like I mentioned yesterday, in traditional finance, if you send me money from your bank and I have not received the money, and you tell me, "Oh, you have sent it," and from my end, I say, "I haven't received it," it now depends on you to trust your bank or me to trust you that you have sent the money. You will now have to call customer care. What happens? You really cannot. Sometimes even the customer care may not even be able to trace where the money is at that particular point in time. But you see, with decentralized finance, the transactions are very transparent. Now, even if you send me money from your wallet, and I haven't received the money, if you, as long as you tell me you have sent it, all I just need to do is to get your wallet address or the transaction, basically your wallet address, and go to the chain, go to the online, and check if you have actually sent if the transaction has actually been done. So if I see that, even if I have not received the money, I can release the goods for you to go, because it cannot be reversed. Blockchain is irreversible. It is just go. It is like soldier go. It cannot be reversed. So I'll give you maybe it's just some few blocks, that needs to be confirmed. That is why I've not received the money. So and with time, even if it take days, I will receive the money. I will give you your goods and go. So that is the transparency that the blockchain comes about. So I think in the course I mentioned talked about staking. Staking is a platform or a protocol or a process that a protocol provides for you to provide an asset, and in course you are getting reward for that particular asset you have provided on the protocol. So there are platforms that offers that. There is decentralized platforms like PancakeSwap, Uniswap. They offer staking ability for you to stake your asset. You can stake your asset in any tokens. And when I talk about asset, I'm talking about tokens because we are talking about tokenized assets. So there are DEX exchanges that actually gives you the ability or the platform for you to create exchange, this particular asset. We have centralized exchanges, we have decentralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges have custodial, to your assets. So you have them like Bybit, KuCoin, OKX, a lot of them. But for decentralized exchanges, they are what they call non-custodial. They, they use the process called order book to fulfill transaction fulfillment, to make transaction fulfillment. Non-custodial example of decentralized exchanges, PancakeSwap and Uniswap. Then again, you have lending. Lending is, like I mentioned, if you want to go and lend money from your bank, they will ask you to bring collateral. They will ask you to bring your mother's the date of birth. They will ask you to bring several conditions before they give you the money. But for decentralized finance, you can actually go on a protocol and lend just by providing small liquidity of an asset. So, any question, please? Before we finally go further and round up, we're about rounding off now. Any question? So, I think most of these things
Okay.
are, yes.
Um, Chibi Iwuze Onwe, okay, is asking. He said, blockchain, like you mentioned, blockchain cannot be reversed. So, how do people avoid accidental or potential fraudulent payments, since they know that if I send these funds out, I cannot get it back? So, how do they avoid accidents, like avoid making mistakes?
Okay, so well, although there are most of these blockchain protocols or exchanges, they have actually put some measures in place, that you don't get to make mistake. Because the truth is that once you make a mistake, once you do a wrong transaction, no matter how huge the money is, forget about it. There was a case of I don't know if there was this story that trended some months ago, about 2 or 3 months ago. I saw it online that trended about 2 or 3 months ago, where somebody wanted to send 10 Solana. Now, Solana is a token. It's a native token on Solana blockchain. I mistakenly sent 100 Solana. 100 Solana, a 100 Solana is worth over $10,000. That's over 10 million naira. So basically sent a hundred Solana, and you know what that means. That's so what the guy needed to do. He started begging. Came
Yeah.
online. Okay, he heard the story, and so just the luck he had was that the person that sent the
That
person that
received
received the form, the person is God fearing. So the person just had the fear of God and
and sent
sent
it back.
the money back. So there are several ways that some platforms and protocols have tried to put things in place. There's what they call seed phrase. Seed phrase is a way to protect your tokens against theft. But the bad thing is that if you lose your
Great.
seed phrase, your your tokens are coming forth. I've actually lost some Bitcoin because I couldn't have, I forgot my access to that particular platform. But the thing is that the Bitcoin is not as if they were much, but at least it was something, you know.
Or something.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so those are the kind of things that you see on the blockchain. So you have to be extra careful. You have to when you are copying a wallet address, you have to ensure double check that you have actually copied your wallet address, because the wallet address is not like your normal account number that just have numbers. I think there are about 10 digits for account numbers that have 10 digits. The wallet address has actually have over 21 characters, 21 different characters comprising of alphabet and numbers. You know, so you need to understand this, all of all that yeah. So once it is done, so you have to be very careful. Yeah, so I want to jump into DeFi usage. Do we have any other question?
Okay, so Angel, I think we should take this question. You know, sir, before this, you mentioned you also talked about staking while you were talking about exchanging and lending. So Angel is asking, how can I stake rightly? How can I predict wrong or right stakes? So for instance, take myself for example, maybe I stake um 20 BNB, and then in the future I'm staking it for like 1 year or 2 years, and by that time BNB reduces drastically. what what becomes of me? So she wants to know, how can she stake properly? How will she know that, okay, this is a good stake, this might not be profitable in the nearest future?
Okay, yeah.
Hey, what's
So
the stake for staking?
okay, you mentioned BNB. BNB, they're actually good projects. They are what they call high cap projects. BNB, Bitcoin, Solana. These are high cap. These are projects that are over 100 billion in market capitalization. So staking those projects actually, yes, of course, it goes down and it puts your portfolio in a bad position. But because they are high cap coin, you always have the possibility of rebound. Now, the challenges in staking those high cap coins is that because they are actually high cap, and the ability, the possibility of losing your money entirely is actually totally near zero, well, near zero. So the yield or the percentage rate, the annual percentage yield is always not high. So maybe like 20% per annum, 15% per annum, sometimes 10% per annum. But you see the low cap points, that offers, high yield, like 10,000 X, 1,000 X, those ones that actually give you, those ones are actually the ones that you should be afraid of. They are highly risky. So it is very important that you do your research properly. You do your research properly, because the truth is that those liquidity, once they are gone, they are gone forever. The exchange may not even be able to save you at that particular point in time. So the most important thing you need to understand, like I mentioned, is that you have the right knowledge, and don't be greedy. And when you are staking for high cap points, when you are staking for high cap points, you can actually put, your majority of your portfolio. When you are staking for low cap coins, you should actually put in the money that you are willing to lose. If your capacity, if you have a capacity of losing 50,000 naira, you just assume that maybe when you were going on the road, somebody took it from the pocket and you will get, but not that you will now take your house rent, your school fees,
Entire
your
life savings.
your entire life savings, and pour it into a low cap coin. The money will be gone and it will go forever. But then you are crying, nobody will be there to console you. So you need to have that at the back of your mind. Yeah. So DeFi usage, like I mentioned, security tokens offering. This, in fact, this is where I'm really more particular about entrepreneurs. I want entrepreneurs to look at this particular place. Let's critically look at it and look at blockchains that can actually help us achieve this in terms of raising capital for our business. I haven't seen businesses doing this in Africa. And I see personally, I have a strong conviction that this is the way to go for entrepreneurs in Africa. DeFi capital raise through security tokens offerings. And I'm actually working on this project in partnership with a blockchain protocol. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to see how MSMEs can actually harness this opportunity to raise capital for their business. Another is cross-border payments. I mentioned that earlier. Iya Chukwudi that sells wrapper in the market can actually send her goods to Dubai, send her goods to anywhere in the world, and actually receive our payments in USDT, without necessarily need to open any bank account or necessarily need to go to the bank to fill any form. He opens the account. So that gives access to financial inclusion and give access for our business to a global economy. Lending and borrowing, we've mentioned that. Liquidity pool and yield farming, we mentioned that as well. So in conclusion, DeFi or decentralized finance enhances financial inclusion, enhances tokenization, asset creation, and cross-border investment. Entrepreneurs that are in art, I haven't seen these entrepreneurs or these guys, these bones casters that are in arts in Benin here, see how they can harness the opportunity of the blockchain through NFTs to actually sell their artworks and make good money. It's an opportunity for them to be able to do that. Sell NFTs and make good money. Of course, you know that there's a knowledge gap, between those guys and people who actually have the knowledge. But we can actually look for how to bring it closer home. The idea for the blockchain is for us to bring it closer home. Smart countries like Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Singapore, they are actually bringing blockchain opportunities to their local entrepreneurs. Dubai prides itself as the blockchain capital of the world. There are logistics companies that are built on blockchain. There are hotels and accommodations that are built on the blockchain. So we as well in Africa can actually start to see how we can maximize that opportunity that can actually help our business grow in this part of the world. Promoting transparency and security, driving innovation and efficiency, also regulatory and compliance. I was actually ecstatic and very happy yesterday when I saw a news flash that the Nigerian Security Exchange Commission has actually approved a digital asset exchange platform, giving them an approval to operate. So that has given us the opportunity, to see how we can harness that digital assets, to see how we can create assets and actually help our business grow in this part of the world. It's something that we are going to be exploring. It's something that we are going to be looking at closely. I personally will be watching it closely. I've been working on researching around these areas and willing to work with entrepreneurs who are ready to explore this aspect of capital raise. Then finally, preparing for future trends. We must prepare for future trends. We must understand the flow of money and know where to wait for it. Thank you very much, Genius Hub, for this opportunity. And you can follow me on X, Nofa_Simeon. And, I'm willing to share more insight and knowledge on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We are very honored. We are grateful. Indeed, we have learned. I myself, I have learned so much, and I believe our audience, people listening to us, they've also learned. Okay, so before we take questions, I'll just do a brief recap of what we've talked about today. Some few points I had to note down. Okay, so we started by saying that money is flowing towards the direction of value, and as business owners, we must be creative in how we deliver our value. We must also understand the technology that governs the next phase of money that we are entering into. We are in the future of tokenized money that has opened a lot of opportunities in the financial industry. Also, Mr. Simeon mentioned that MSMEs, entrepreneurs, you can get investment through STOs, that's the security tokens offering. But before then, you must know the value that you are giving, because investors would want to invest in your business if your value is worth it. Okay, so he also mentioned the dangers of decentralized currency and how to mitigate it. And also, he mentioned that in carrying out transactions in the blockchain, you have to be extra careful so you don't lose your entire life savings because of one transaction. Thank you so much, Mr. Simeon. We are very grateful. I don't know if you have any questions in the comment section. I'll just go through the comment section. Okay. If you have any question, now is the best time to drop it, because we would be ending this live session soon. Okay, there are no questions. All right, so if you have any suggestions or any topic you would love us, Genius Up team, to treat, you can reach out to us via email, or you can contact the numbers showing on your screen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll bring you words from our Chief Innovation Officer. Unfortunately, she could not join us today, Mrs. Isimeme White. We'll also bring you words from the entire Genius Up team. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Mr. Simeon. We are grateful. So for now, it's bye from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Genius Hub, the right destination for human capacity development, skills acquisition, and empowerment. Genius Hub is a human capital development organization with offices across Nigeria and Africa, and with a strong presence in Lagos, Kano, Edo, and Rwanda. With a vision to improve lives and empower knowledge, Genius Hub prides itself in providing services and training to over 17,000 persons in over 49 TVET entrepreneurship, employability, and digital skills, such